Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85, and I've got another figure review for you today. And, of course, another Gashapon figure, as many of you may know that I really do love my Gashapon figures, and obviously really enjoy reviewing them, etc., etc. So today I'm doing this one on, one of the, what would be considered one of the lesser known kaiju from the Toho universe, none other than Varan, of course. And Varan is a kaiju that I definitely really like a lot. He's, I have obviously limited exposure to him, but that's because of limited film, appearances that he was actually in. The original film, Varan the Unbelievable, was released in 1958. Obviously by Toho. It was later released in the U.S. in I believe 1962, the re-edited version of it for the for the U.S. release. But I usually like to go by the original release date for the film. So obviously the original one released in 1958. And I do have the U.S. version of it. I enjoy it. It's not the best of the Toho, non-Godzilla movies, but I do enjoy it, and I really like Varan a lot. Of course, in that version, they really only refer to him as Obaki, this sort of monster god that lived in the lake. But he had a cool, he had a pretty cool origin, and and once you do see him show up in the movie, I do enjoy his screen on time. It's just unfortunately the U.S. version, they edited a lot of it out, including the scenes, with Varan basically gliding through the air, so it's kind of unfortunate, and they changed the roar because I like Varan's signature roar, and it was one that actually was later reused for a few other kaiju, most notably Baragon and Gorosaurus, just slightly modified versions of the Varan roar, and then a more heavily altered version of his roar was used for Megalon. So those are some cool things to note. Again, Varan's a kaiju that I really, really like a lot. I wish we would have seen more of him in films, because really his only other true film appearance is just a brief cameo in Destroy All Monsters, where you see him living on Monster Island, with the other Earth's kaiju, and he really only makes a short appearance in there. Mainly the reason for that was because of suit deterioration and all, that they really could only afford to give him a short, brief appearance in the film. But it was at least cool to see him there. And then really the only other instance that you'll see of him is in stock footage from Godzilla Final Wars. But other than that, though, my first introduction to Varan, believe it or not, was from the NES game, which I did make a video prior to this on, Godzilla Monster of Monsters, and that was my first exposure to Varan. Actually, in that game, he's got that sort of purplish reddish, color, which is a little bit off from what he's supposed to be, but he was pretty cool. He can be a little bit tricky to actually face in the game too, because even though he doesn't really have any beam weapons or anything like that, his arms though are very long, so he's got that long reach, and if you're fighting him, especially with Godzilla, it makes it a bit tricky to deal with him. So so those are just some cool things to note. So as far as the Gashapon figure itself goes, this is one I definitely recommend. It's a very affordable figure. I got it a long time ago on eBay, and they're still pretty common and pretty affordable now. So if you want to avoid, if you don't mind getting a minifigure, the Gashapon figure, but but want to go in a more reasonable price range as opposed to getting the X Plus version of Varan or the YMSF version, which are standard size, standard to large size figures, but they're extremely expensive, because I'm looking, I may eventually get the YMSF version if I can get a decent enough price on it, but for right now, definitely very happy with this one. So we'll get into it. Obviously, again, a Gashapon figure, so there's no articulation, so again, just to point that out right off the bat. But as far as color scheme goes, the Gashapon figure, he's got, Varan's color is really supposed to be more of like a reddish, brownish color, like a mix of that, and I guess it's sort of indicative with this figure, as you can kind of see him all around. But it's more in the brown family. Might be like some reddish tint mixed in with the brown, but like I said, it's more in the brown family than it is red. But nonetheless, though, still a nice paint job on it. And for detail, I think they actually did very, very well for the detail, because he's got these bumps all over his back, which they actually did a pretty good job detailing that. Let's see if you can see that. It goes all the way down to the basically to the end of his tail. So you can see that all around on his back. The spikes, the spines, the row of them that stretch from the top of his head all the way down to the tip of his tail, they really nailed those as well. And you see how they kind of, go along with the paint job on it, how they kind of taper off into this lighter brownish color at the end. So they actually did a really nice job with that. It was a very nice touch. They feel really good too. You can, they even have a little bit of a sharp feel to them. The spines, the face details. They got these, I guess they're called these face horns. Another YouTube reviewer had said that, about Varan as well. They reviewed the X Plus version of it, but they did a good job detailing it here. It's one thing I happen to really like about these Gashapon figures. They're for the most part affordable, but they really don't lack on the detail. They did it very well in the face. You can see, the eyes, obviously with the white and the black pupils, and of course some teeth painted on there. So not really protruding teeth for detail, but at least they're painted on. So it's not super detailed there, but it does the job, I think. And for what you're getting, with the figure, I think it looks really, really good. So as you can kind of see it there, keeping it at a safe distance. Got the horn right there. Well, not really the horn, but that sort of bump. Yeah, that's right there. The horns on the top of the head, though. But and you can see over here as well, the horns on his head. So I think that they did a really, really nice job detailing this. I know he's supposed to have more scales and whatnot on his underbelly, which this is more just, you've got some rough texture on him, which was nice. So they don't really have too much of the scaling on here, but it's still pretty nice overall. And they didn't paint the claws, the toe claws and the finger claws a different color, which I wish they would have. But that's just kind of a little nitpick more than anything. Again, this is an affordable figure, so to get it super detailed to a T, it's probably not going to be the most conducive thing. But like I said, I still think it's well detailed enough, and it's a figure that I really, really happen to like. Like I said, the Gashapon, the high grade one, you can find it. Numerous sellers on eBay and whatnot will have that for sale. So it's pretty easy to come by. and it's very affordable. Again, a Gashapon figure, unless it's a rare Gashapon figure, they're usually going to be affordable. Like I've said numerous times. So that's about it for Varan. I did want to go ahead and cover him. I'm gonna do a couple others on some of the other lesser known kaiju, but obviously ones that I really like as well. But wanted to get started with him, so, and then kind of I'll go from there as we go along here with future videos. But again, though, Varan, a lesser known kaiju, only had a couple legitimate film appearances. But a kaiju that I really, really like a lot, and I wish that we would have seen him more. I know, originally in GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, he was going to be featured in the film along with Anguirus, in the roles that were eventually given to Mothra and King Ghidorah. I would have preferred if they would have stuck with Varan and Anguirus. I probably would have liked the film better had they done so, but it is what it is. So I did, nonetheless, though, a kaiju that I definitely enjoy, and hopefully in the future we'll get to see more of him. But again, though, this is a figure I definitely recommend for your collection if you do like the Gashapon figures, these high-grade figures, and this is one I definitely suggest that you add. So I think that does about wrap it up for him. Nothing too intense. But other than that, though, I do thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. So until next time, though, ladies and gentlemen, just remember, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.